Is Leatherneck going to be a great entry into the G.I. Joe Classified series, or is he going to be just another Green Army Man? Well, today we are going to unbox Leatherneck, number 130, no. He is number 148 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. And from what I can tell, this is a very, very classic rendition of Leatherneck compared to the Real American Hero version, and one character that I never really had as a kid growing up. I don't have the weight of nostalgia pulling me to this character. I just think he looked kind of cool. And in my quest to get most of the G.I. Joe Classified figures, this one, he came home with me. So we're going to unbox him. We're going to see what he's about. Let's go. So here's Leatherneck. Here's how he comes out of the box, for the most part. He does have his hat on, which is a very signature look for Leatherneck. There are some modern updates for him. He's got this like magnetic bracelet on one arm, he has a watch on the other, and he's got some really cool accessories on the drop hips. And let's see, he also comes with this little tiny piece right here, these glasses, which, if you know anything about G.I. Joe Classified series, these glasses are always hit or miss. It is very difficult to get a sense of whether or not these look good on the figure. And these are okay. They're okay. You can tell it pulls away from the ear a little bit on the left side. You know, the more I see these figures, the more that I put these tiny little glasses on, the less that I am liking this. I would have hoped by now there would have been some kind of solution for that, but I think the solution is what they've done for some other figures, and that is just sculpt or glue these pieces onto the base figure. Because as it stands now, again, it's passable, and if I put the hat on, let's see here. I mean, that looks okay. So I likely will not be displaying Leatherneck with his glasses, but the hat's got to stay on. I mean, we're taking a look at the face. So if we take a look a little closer, we can see that he has one mean mustache and a 5 o'clock shadow. That is an interesting paint application that I kind of like. It's a fun detail for a figure who is as just grumpy looking as Leatherneck here. He does come with a backpack. It doesn't peg really all that well into his, the back. Yeah, I don't know whether or not, I think the problem is that like the peg drill is not as far in as I would hope it would be, because it does kind of float off the back a little bit. It almost looks like one of those Fortnite back blings that just don't sit all that right. I don't think it has anything to do with the peg. No, I think it probably is the figure himself. So again, maybe another feature that I won't display him with. He comes with a knife, he comes with a handgun, he does come with his main assault rifle, as well as alternate hands. The one that I've been holding up there, he's displayed with his closed fist, which I think really works well for this figure. He does come with the trigger hands too. The difficulty that I was having with these is that the trigger finger is like a little bent. It's a little warped that it came out of the packaging. So it makes holding the guns very difficult for him. Speaking of the guns, we need to also talk about some of the upper torso articulation, because that's important for something like this. When I was playing around with this figure, he has loosened up a lot, but that is not saying much. He is still a very tight jointed figure that is difficult to pose. There are double joints on the elbows. We do have a little bit of butterfly action, but it is not enough. So when you see the weapon that he comes with, it makes it very difficult for him to hold this in any sort of, like, I would say action pose or realistic pose, because I mean, when we're dealing with a figure like this is a very non-fantastical version of the military. I would say this is a lot more grounded in reality, and to have him be able to carry something like this, you know, a little more true to form would have been amazing. Part of what also is hindering that is his vest. This vest is something that slips over the main body. I haven't removed it. I don't think I'm going to do that, but it is something that gets in the way because there are these sculpted details where his knife is holstered, as well as these grenades that sit on his vest. Again, very true to classic form, but it's going to limit some of your movement. It's going to limit some of your range when it comes to holding weapons. But there are some fun details. He's got his patch on this side. He's got his rank on that side. The watch shows 1900 hours. I don't know if that has any sort of significance in G.I. Joe, so let me know in the comment section if 1900 hours means anything, because I think we've seen this on other watches before. And this magnetic bracelet, it is not truly magnetic. It just is just a loop of plastic, but I'm worried about it because it falls off very easily. And when I was posing with him, this little piece here does just clamp off. So I think it looks good. I think it gives him some visual distinction. Kind of reminds me, back when I was growing up, this was like a very popular thing for golfers. I don't know if this character is a golfer, you know, outside of his G.I. Joe duties, but it kind of reminds me of that old golfing thing. I wonder if it means anything now. I'm kind of out of the loop, guys. As you can tell, So as we're working our way down the figure, we have his utility belt, and it comes with a holster. It is almost like a bat in the way that it is a belt, and then it also attaches to the thigh. What that does is it kind of helps it stay in place. I kind of like that system. And over on this side, we have some like communication devices. So like a walkie-talkie, have some ropes or cords, something like that. It all goes very well. But as we can tell, there's nothing particularly that stands out on this figure. And I think part of what makes that abundantly clear to me is just some of the other recent G.I. Joe figures that I have been reviewing. If we compare Leatherneck to something like our Saw Viper, who is gigantic and purple, as two warring factions, they couldn't be any more different. Now, that's not to say this is a bad figure. I just think it comes in as a little more plain compared to some of the more recent stuff that has come out from the G.I. Joe Classified series. So on all of the function pieces, I would say that Leatherneck is done really well. And even the glasses, which I'm not a big fan of, like I'm being less of a fan of lately. But I still think overall, like it is an improvement for some of the little bits and features that go on some of these figures. And if Leatherneck is a place to test some of those things out, awesome, because I know within the G.I. Joe Classified community, there are a lot of people who love the classic, the retro looks, especially if they got in on the Real American Hero stuff at the very early, very first waves where the G.I. Joe squad was very traditional military, not some of the fantastical or even some far-flung space ideas that they had towards the end of G.I. Joe, when that was kind of more of my era. I think in terms of Leatherneck, there are some areas where they pushed him a little forward into the Classified era. And for that, I think it does a great job. But I feel like this character is anchored more in the past, which is okay. This is not going to be my favorite figure, but by no means does that make this a bad figure. But if we are talking about things beyond design and aesthetic choices that just aren't my cup of tea, some things that I really didn't like about this figure are the really stiff joints. And some of the tiny little pieces, like his wristband there, as well as his glasses, which stay on, again, okay, but like it's not great. And the fact that the trigger finger hands were warped a little bit coming out of the package, I think is just really unfortunate because it makes holding his weapons very difficult. But for the purposes that I'm going to be displaying this guy as, I mean, this is kind of it. Maybe with the glasses, but again, I don't really want to lose those. So I think that's where we're at with Leatherneck. I'm curious. Like, I think I want to open this discussion up because we have seen a lot of the G.I. Joe Classified series kind of push and pull in different directions, advancing towards the future a little more and sticking close to more of the retro figure. So I'm curious, what do you like? Do you like when they push the G.I. Joe Classified series a little more into the future, or do you like it when they just modernize a few elements, have it be a really cool, well-sculpted figure, and stick a little closer to the original look? You gotta let me know in the comment section because I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. One thing for sure is my G.I. Joe shelf over there is getting pretty full. I'm going to need to reorganize the shelf pretty soon in the future. I think I might have just enough space for Leatherneck here, but if I'm adding any more Joes, which I still have some in a box, I'm literally looking at them right now, we're gonna have to redo this shelf somehow. But that is a problem for a later Ryan. If you like the discussion on G.I. Joe Classified series, if you like action figures, collectibles, pop culture, blasters, anything action related, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to the Ri-Fi channel because I really think you're going to like the videos that I have got coming out for you. That's all I know about Leatherneck. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.